Here's 6 things that you need to know before you become a tattoo artist. If you don't know these things or you don't do them, you're just gonna make life hard for yourself. And long story, it could result in you just failing. And it all starts with point 1, the success pyramid. Let me show you on whiteboard really quick so you understand. The success pyramid. In any industry, we've got 20% of artists, in this case, tattooists, that are failing. Or we could say that they're in debt. Now that's quite a big number. For every 100 artists, every 100 tattoo shops around you, wherever you are in the world, you can guarantee 20 of those shops can't even afford the bills. Well, that's failing massively. The next and the biggest portion, which is 60%, over half of every tattoo shop is in the next phase. And we say that these are just getting by. On a monthly basis, they're tattooing, they're getting the bookings that they need, but they're skint at end of month. They're needing that next tattoo. They can't just piss off on holiday whenever they want. They can't just go out and buy whatever they want because they're living kind of hand to mouth. The majority of people, over half, fall into this category. So 80%, a fucking huge number of tattoo businesses are either just getting by or in debt. Well, that scares the life out of me, and I hope to God that you guys are not in that. If you are in it, which is a high chance, 80% chance, there's a lot of easy things that we can do. And like I've already said, it's not always about the quality of your work. There's other things involved. His goal is to get out of this. The next big chunk is 15% are actually running the business good. All right, so they're not really financially free, but they've got a little bit of money left over. What's the next one? Well, 4% are great. Ideally, we want to be in this or the next one. We want a great lifestyle or the one above this, which I'll get onto. These people can go on multiple holidays a year. They can't just go out and purchase what they want, but they're quite profitable. They don't have to worry about the shop rent, the house. They don't have to worry at all. The final 1% are wealthy, right? In the tattoo industry, I'll be honest, it's slightly less than 1%. But to become into that, you have got to be earning 7 figures. And let's be honest, when you're earning 7 figures, you haven't got to worry. I can go shopping and I don't have to look at clothes and think, how much is that? I just put it on counter and bill. I don't have to stress. If my car breaks down, I don't think, oh God, how am I going? I just take it to a garage. The bill is the bill, I'm not bothered. It's the goal to work from wherever you are in this pyramid up to at least the top 5%. But let's relate this back to the industry as a whole, because I really want you to understand this. Point 2, I just want you to imagine that you've got shit teeth. Your teeth are a complete mess. They've always been like that. And it's always been something that's really bothered you. For years, you've been saving up. Saving like mad until eventually you've got all the money to go get your teeth all fixed and whitened. All right, so you go to the dentist's. There's 2 dentists directly in front of you. You're stood on a path, and opposite you is these 2 dentists. One of them is your general dentist that does all NHS patients, fillings, braces, whatever you need, that dentist will do it. The next dentist, just at the side of it, is a dentist that says, we specialise in teeth whitening. You're wanting your teeth whitened. Who are you gonna choose? Naturally, we go to the person that specialises in the one thing that we want, and that is the next point. You've got to specialise in a niche. Don't be a generalist. I know it's so easy to think, well, if I do everything, naturally I've got more customers, because it doesn't matter whether they want a black and grey portrait, colour portrait, traditional, new school, really simple stuff, micro tattoo. I can do everything. So therefore I've got all these customers, which in one sense, yeah, you're kind of right. But, big but, you've also got competition with every other tattooist. A tattooist that does black and grey portraits, you're in competition with them. Tattooist that does traditional stuff, you're in competition with them. And the customers are going to do the exact same thing that you would have done with those 2 dentists. They're going to look at you and think they just do everything. They're going to go to the artist that specialises in the one thing that that customer wants. So in actual fact, if you're a generalist, yeah, you've got a field of more customers. However, you've also got a lot more competition that do specialise, and the customers are going to choose them over you. Be a specialist, not a generalist, all right? So important. One of the things that I found mega difficult when I first started, and it's something that I wish I'd have had a lot more experience in before I actually opened my shop, is managing clients. It's one of the hardest things that you're ever going to do, because the job, especially once you've been doing it a few years, is actually the easy part. Dealing with the customers is what becomes difficult. You get so many people wasting your time, messing about with designs, missing appointments, depending on how you run your business, just being awkward in general. And unless you've got a system in place to manage these people, honestly, it can become a nightmare of the business. So managing clients is something that you've got to preempt and start understanding a little bit more, because you're not just a tattooist, you're a business owner, and you've got to manage your clients, any staff that you work with, in the correct way. So bear that in mind as well. Point 4, really easy one to explain. Listen, it took me years before the penny dropped, all right? Yeah, you're a tattooist. Yeah, we all love art, but you are a business owner first. And to grow your business and to make any form of success in this industry, you have got to think, act, eat, sleep like a business owner, not just a tattooist. The tattooing is the job, the physical thing, the product, but you are also in charge of the business itself. And you've got to think like a business owner. You've got to understand the customer journey, understand the marketing, understand how different types of tone of voice will attract certain types of customers. All these little things you've got to become really familiar with and learn how to implement and adapt them to grow your business. And it wasn't until I learned this that the business and marketing is actually responsible for 80% of the success of your shop. The tattooing is 20%. So do the math. Where should the focus be? On the tattooing that gets 20% of results, or the business and marketing that is responsible for 80% of the growth? All right, so a lot of time and dedication needs putting into how to run your business and how to market it. Because you could literally be having millions of people on a monthly basis looking at your socials, your website, and wanting to book in. It sounds like unbelievable. Well, it's not. On average, every 28 days, I have around 20 million people come to my Facebook page and look at it. 20 million coming and looking at my stuff just through how I market my business. Nothing to do with my work. You'll have all seen my work before. I'd say it's a really good average. But how I run my business and how I market that business is second to none. Put the focus into the right place. Point 5, don't follow the crowd. Think back to that first point that I've made about the success pyramid. Most, 80 or even 95% of the entire industry is doing things totally wrong. And yet we fall into this habit. We look at us competitors and think they're putting these posts on, so we mimic that. They're doing this style of designs, so we mimic that. They're more than likely in the 95%. They're failing. We're copying them. Do you think we're going to become successful? No, we're just copying failure. So when you're looking at other people and thinking, do they inspire me? Can I learn something from them? Do I want to copy them? Make sure that they're in that top 5% of that pyramid. Because otherwise, you're copying failure. It don't make sense, does it? In fact, it's near on stupid to even do that. You want to be looking for the 5% or above and thinking, that is what I want to achieve. That is the route that I'm going to put my business in. The 6th and final point, I dare say, is the most important. And as usual, I've left this one till last, but if there's one tip that you're going to take away from this video that's going to make the biggest impact, it is this tip. Education is king. And what I mean by that is you should constantly want to learn. If your tattooing is not up to par, you should want to learn to become a better artist. If your business is not running smoothly and effectively, you should want to learn how to run that better. If your marketing is not producing the amount of inquiries that you want, you should want to learn how to make that happen. Too many artists, and I get this on a daily basis, literally, sometimes multiple times a day. You're shit, you can't do this, you that. My business is in top 1%. It's running pretty smooth. My marketing works. And it's just ignorance and not listening to somebody that clearly knows more than you. These artists do that. Instead of just listening and taking the advice, they know best. Well, I've been doing this 20 years. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, and you're fucking still failing. You've been failing for 20 years and you're still not listening, you thick get. Start listening and stop being ignorant. Education is king. If you're not good at something, acknowledge it and think, right, I want to be better at that. The amount of courses I go on for business, even now, I've got a multiple 7-figure business. I still try and learn more. I know how to market. I get multiple millions of people every 28 days come to my socials. I still go on marketing courses because I fully understand I could be better at this than what I am. My tattoos are a good average. I constantly try and improve my work. I look at people and think they're inspiring. I talk to them and say, how did you get that shading? And yet I've taught hundreds of thousands of people around the world. I never get to that point where I think I cannot learn anymore. And anybody that I think this person is doing something better than me, I acknowledge it and think, what can I learn from that person? There is zero ignorance or arrogance from my end. And that is what's resulted in getting me to where I am today. And because I kept that attitude, it's going to propel me to that next level, then the next level. So just remember one thing, if you're going to take anything at all from this video, is education is king. And that being said, if you do want to learn anything on any of them topics, I've got a ton of videos covering the business, the marketing, and entire courses teaching you from never holding a machine to being able to do some absolutely epic designs. So make sure you go check them out. They're all on my website, tattoomethodpro.com.